In today's lecture, we will see the most widely used LAN protocol, the Ethernet. We will start the session with the outcomes. In today's lecture, we have 5 outcomes. Upon the completion of the session, the learner will be able to. Outcome number 1, we will know the Ethernet protocol. Outcome number 2, we will know the evolution of Ethernet. Outcome number 3, we will understand the frame format of Ethernet. Outcome number 4, we will know the minimum and maximum length of Ethernet frames. And finally, we will understand the Ethernet address. Let's start the session with what is Ethernet. We know Ethernet is one of the most widely used wired LAN technologies. See, if you observe, this is a wired LAN technology. We have Wi-Fi, which is also for LAN, but Wi-Fi is an example of wireless LAN technology. And in which layer Ethernet operates? Ethernet operates in the data link layer and the physical layer. It's amazing, Ethernet is working in both the layers, data link layer and the physical layer. Ethernet belongs to the family of networking technologies that are defined in the IEEE 802.2 and IEEE 802.3 standards, and it supports data bandwidths of 10, 100, 1000, 10,000, 40,000 and 100,000 megabits per second. 100,000 megabits per second is equivalent to 100 gigabits per second. Initially, when Ethernet was evolved, it was in megabits per second. Now it ranges up to 100 gigabits per second and more. Now let's see the Ethernet standards. This Ethernet defines layer 2 protocols and layer 1 technologies. In layer 2, we will call it as an Ethernet protocol. In layer 1, it is an Ethernet technology, where this Ethernet technology deals with the physical layer, the Ethernet cables. We have various categories of Ethernet cables. We will see the various categories of Ethernet cables in the upcoming lectures. For time being, we will know this defines layer 2 protocols and layer 1 technologies. We know Ethernet works in layer 2, that is the data link layer. Ethernet has 2 separate sublayers of the data link layer to operate. One is the logical link control LLC and the other one is the MAC sublayer. Already we have discussed the logical link control sublayer and the MAC sublayer in one of the previous lectures. If you want more about this, I request you to watch my previous lecture titled Sublayers of the Data Link Layer. Now let's see the evolution of Ethernet. Initially it was standard Ethernet, then came the fast Ethernet, then came the gigabit Ethernet. Now we have 10 gigabit Ethernet, even 100 gigabit Ethernet. The standard Ethernet speeds up to 10 megabits per second. Fast Ethernet speeds up to 100 megabits per second. Gigabit Ethernet speeds up to 1 gigabit per second. And 10 gigabit Ethernet speeds up to 10 gigabits per second. 100 gigabit per second Ethernet and more. And that's the evolution of Ethernet. We will now see the frame format of Ethernet. Frame format of Ethernet is somewhat similar to the previous data link layer protocols we addressed. What are the frame formats we addressed previously? The HDLC frame format, the point-to-point protocol PPP, the DDCMP frame format. Let's see the frame format of Ethernet now. We will start with the first part of the Ethernet frame format, which is the preamble. This preamble is of 7 bytes. So when we say 7 bytes, it is of 56 bits of alternating ones and zeros. So 10, 10, 10 up to 56 bits. Why do we need this preamble? This preamble is just for synchronization purpose. Now coming to the next part, which is SFD. SFD stands for Start Frame Delimiter. So this acts as a flag. So this is also for synchronization purpose. The flag is fixed here. The SFD is of 1 byte and we have this 1 byte information, that is 8 bits 10101011, and the main feature about this is it acts as a flag. At the same time, the last 2 bits, that is these 2 ones, indicates the receiver that the upcoming field is the destination MAC address, that is this. So the third field in the Ethernet frame format is the destination address. We know this is the layer 2 protocol. Layer 2 is the data link layer where it deals with the physical address, that is the MAC address. The next 6 bytes followed by SFD is the destination MAC address, which is of 6 bytes. We know 6 bytes means 48 bits. We know MAC address is of 48 bits. So whenever any frame is generated from the source, it has to place the source MAC address and the destination MAC address in the packet that it has received. So the upper layer is the network layer. From network layer, whatever it receives, it has to encapsulate the header and the trailer. So this is what the upper layer information that we get from the network layer. With the network layer information, we append this header and this is the trailer. So with the header, we see there is a preamble, there is SFD, the destination MAC address and the source MAC address. Suppose if a sender is sending some data to the receiver, it has to use the source MAC address in this part and the destination MAC address in this part. Suppose if the source and the destination are residing in the same local area network, it uses the source MAC address and the destination MAC address. If it doesn't know the destination MAC address, it simply uses the ARP protocol, which is the address resolution protocol, in order to get the MAC address of the destination IP address. For time being, you just ignore ARP. Anyway, we will be dealing about ARP protocol elaborately in the upcoming lecture. So, the destination MAC address is placed here and the source MAC address is placed here. Then the next field is the length or type field, which is of 2 bytes. So the length field decides the length of the data and the type of the data. That is, what is the upper layer protocol it is using. So that information is placed in this part. And then comes the data and the padding. The data means whatever it has received from the upper layer, that is the network layer, that information is placed here. Generally, padding is used to make the frames a fixed size frame. And finally, we have the trailer part. In the trailer part of the Ethernet, we have CRC. CRC stands for Cyclic Redundancy Check, which is used for error detection purpose. The size of the CRC in Ethernet is 4 bytes. The Ethernet frame has the fields preamble, start frame delimiter, the destination MAC address, the source MAC address, the length or type field, the data, and the CRC. But actually, this preamble and start frame delimiter is placed in the physical layer, and that is why it is mentioned as the physical layer header. Actually, the physical layer only has to deal with the synchronization part. If you recollect the OSI reference model, the synchronization is mainly dealt in the physical layer. In order to facilitate the synchronization, so Ethernet frames are ready to have the preamble fields and the start frame delimiter. And that's it about the frame format. Let's now see the minimum and the maximum length of the Ethernet frames. When we talk about the minimum and the maximum length of the Ethernet frame, so we are ignoring the first 2 fields of the Ethernet frame. One is the preamble, the other one is the SFD, which is start frame delimiter. Then we will take the other fields. So the destination address, the source address, it means it is the MAC address. Because Ethernet is a data link layer protocol, it deals with the MAC address. And obviously IP address will be in this part, because in the network layer it will be adding the IP address and it will be placed here. And we have a length field which is of 2 bytes, and this is the data and the padding part, and finally the CRC. So the minimum payload length, that is this part, this is the actual payload. So the minimum payload length should be 46 bytes and the maximum payload length will be 1500 bytes. So this part will be minimum of 46 bytes and a maximum of 1500 bytes. And what about the minimum frame length? This is about the IP packet. This is actually an IP packet. And what about the frame? When we talk about frame, whatever we get, the network layer PDU, that is this packet, is encapsulated with the header and the trailer. So let's see the header part. So we have 6 bytes destination MAC address, 6 bytes source MAC address, and 2 bytes of the length or type PDU. And finally, we also have CRC, which is of 4 bytes. So the minimum frame length should be, the minimum payload part is 46. This 46 plus 6 plus 6 plus 2 plus 4. Put together, the minimum frame length will be 64 bytes. So 64 bytes, how we got 64 bytes? If we take the minimum payload is 46, this 46 plus 6, 52, this 52 plus 6, 58, 58 plus 2, 60, and 60 plus 4, 64. So we get 64 bytes or 512 bits. And what about the maximum frame length? The maximum payload, if we take it as 1500 in the IP packet, this 1500 plus 6 plus 6 plus 2 plus 4. So 6 plus 6 plus 2 plus 4 is 18 bytes. So 1500 plus 18 bytes, that is this 1500 plus 18 bytes, it will be 1518 bytes. In bits, it will be 12,144. I request you to make a note of the minimum payload length and the maximum payload length, the minimum frame length and the maximum frame length. Since we are dealing with many analytical and gate examination related problems, these values are essential in order to solve the problems. Before we move into the last part, that is the Ethernet address, we will just recapture frame length. The minimum frame length is 64 bytes or 512 bits and the maximum frame length is 1518 bytes, we will now see the Ethernet address. We know the MAC address is the Ethernet address here. In the Ethernet protocol, we are going to use the MAC address only, obviously. So it is also called as Ethernet address. The example Ethernet address is 0601020102C4B. The separator for the Ethernet address is a colon. So it depends on the manufacturer. So total of 48 bits. So if you observe, this entire MAC address, that is this MAC address, is of 6 bytes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 hexadecimal digits. In bytes, 1 hexadecimal digits is equal to 4 bits. So this 0 can be represented in binary as 0, 0, 0, 0. This 6 can be represented as 0, 1, 1, 0. So put together, this is a byte. So this is second byte, third byte, fourth byte, fifth byte and sixth byte. So Ethernet addresses are of 6 bytes. So it has 12 hexadecimal digits, and in bits, they are 48 bits. Why do we need to exclusively focus on Ethernet address? The reason is, this Ethernet address only decides whether it is a unicast address or a multicast address or a broadcast address. So how many bytes we have in the Ethernet address? We have 6 bytes. Let's say these are the 6 bytes. Byte 1, byte 2, byte 3, byte 4, byte 5, and here is the last byte, that is byte 6. So this is byte 1, this is byte 2, this is byte 3, byte 4, byte 5 and byte 6. When we take this first byte, this first byte only is responsible for deciding whether it is a unicast address or a multicast address. The first byte's last bit, when it is 0, it is unicast address. When it is 1, it is multicast address. Let's see what's this. The least significant bit of the first byte defines the type of address. So this is the least significant bit of the first byte. This is the most significant bit, and this is the least significant bit of the first byte. So obviously this byte is going to decide what type of address it is. If this is 0, it is unicast. If the bit is 0, the address is unicast. Otherwise, it is multicast. If it is 1, it is multicast. Now we are done with unicast address and multicast address. One more address is missing. What's that? It's the broadcast address. So if all bits are 1, then it is broadcast address. So it means 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. All bytes will be filled up with 1. When all bytes are filled up with 1, the hexadecimal equivalent will be FF colon FF colon FF. So all Fs. When we have all Fs in the destination MAC address, it means it's a broadcast address. So whenever the switch receives it, it forwards that to all the nodes in the network. I hope you enjoyed the session, and thank you for watching.